So, good morning. It's that time of year again when the leaves turn yellow. It's October and we're in Sheffield once again for SynthFest UK. And the first people we've come to see this morning are Yamaha, who have an entire underground chamber here at SynthFest in Sheffield to celebrate the 45th anniversary, as you can see here, of the Yamaha synthesizer division. And they've got a bewildering variety of instruments here, dating right back to the SY1 from 1974, which is over in the far corner of the room. We've got a CP80 electric piano here, the mighty DX7 FM synthesizer, and the beast of them all behind me, which we're going to have a closer look at in a minute, the CS80 synthesizer. And we're actually coming right up to date because the CS80 is connected into the very latest release of all, which is the Montage 6, 7, and 8 in white livery, and they're actually routing the CS80 into the Montage to use the DSP effects from the Montage to process that older synthesizer. So there's a fascinating collection of stuff here. And with me here is Dom from Yamaha UK, who is running the show here and can tell us a bit more about the philosophy of the instruments here that they're demonstrating.
Yeah, thanks for visiting, guys. Hello, Sound on Sound crew. Basically, what we have here is it's an incredible thing. For me personally, as a synth lover and as a musician, it's a magical place because we have all these amazing synths. But, you know, it's also the 45th synth anniversary for Yamaha, and the thing that we're trying to convey is the philosophy behind the Yamaha synthesizers, which has always been about sound, number one, control, and also sounding unique. And of course we have quite a few examples right here. For example, the CS80, you know, the thing that made it the CS80 was of course the sound. The sound was incredible, but it wasn't only the sound, it was the amount of control that you could get about the instrument. Yeah, you know, it had a learning curve because it had the ribbon, it had Polyphonic Aftertouch in the 70s. Okay,
quite an achievement back then.
It was, you know, pretty impressive back then, and it still is. Yeah. You know, I don't know of many synths that have Polyphonic Aftertouch even to this day.
Seems to be making a bit of a return, but only in very recent times. Yeah.
So it's an incredible thing, and this kind of philosophy carries on until today, where we have something like the Montage, where basically again you have all the control in your hands, and it sounds really unique on every player. So you can have the exact same sound on every player, but then the control is what makes it different, and the way that you can morph the sound is really what differentiates this instrument to, let's say, a synthesizer that sounds, you know, exactly the same with the same patch on under everyone's fingertips.
Yeah, sure.
So that's what we're trying to.
And we've got a lot more power now, obviously, in instruments than you know. If you look back at something like the DX7, you know, FM synthesis in the way it was then, you know, now we can render that in a much more flexible and arguably more approachable way. And obviously, we've now got much more powerful effects on something like the Montage. So I understand you're using the Montage to process the output of the CS80, sort of union of the two eras of technology.
There are quite a few things that we have right here, but basically we have the brand new operating system for the Montage as well, which actually brings us quite a bit of some, you know, memories back from the CS80. And of course we hooked up the CS80 to the Montage so that we can process like a beast of an analog synth through the beautiful DSP effects, so we can add reverbs to a CS80. Of course the CS80 doesn't have reverbs, you know. Here we can process all these things using the Montage.
Fantastic. Well, could we listen to a bit of that? Would
Absolutely.
you give us a demo?
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Pleasure.
Okay, cool.
So now we are in front of the CS80, the daddy, this amazing instrument, and I want to go through some things that made the CS80 what it is. You know, this really powerful synthesizer that we hear on so many different records, you know, films, and let's play it. Let's see how it sounds. So the first thing is, of course, the ribbon control. So let's see what this does. So this is extremely powerful. It gives the player a lot of control when you're doing vibratos. You can do slides. And of course we have the Polyphonic Aftertouch, where I can control the filters, I can control the oscillator pitch, I can do vibratos, all those beautiful things. So I can only do vibrato on one note where everything else remains unaffected. So this is really, really powerful, and it makes the instrument very expressive. The great thing for the player was that you didn't have to do a million changes in the panel. You could do everything with your fingertips. Then we also have the ring modulation section that's really, really interesting. So all these little things made the CS80 this instrument that we all know and love and we admire. So what we're going to do here now is we're going to route the CS80 to the Montage and use all the DSP effects from the Montage to process the CS80. Because of course with the CS80 we didn't have stuff like reverb or all these other effects that we have on the Montage. So now we're using the Montage as a pedal board for the CS80, and of course you can use it with any other analog synth or any other source that you have. For example, let's add some chorus and some reverb. So you can get all these really, really interesting sci-fi effects. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Montage and show you something that we have in the new version of the operating system. We have operating system version 3 for the Montage that adds a lot of really, really cool features. For example, we have the extended LFO, which allows us to get these really nice ring modulation sounds that we had on the CS80, but also because the extended LFO allows you to go at very, very slow LFO speeds, it allows us to get this kind of drift of the oscillators kind of effect, so you get sounds like this. And again, the philosophy is very, very much the same in its core. Control over the sound without doing a million things. Everything is under your fingertips. We have the ribbon right here, we have mod wheel, and of course we have the super knob that allows you to control up to 128 parameters at once. So you can get pretty much the sound of like 10 CS80s now on a Montage. So this is with a new operating system upgrade that's free for all users. So you have to check it out if you own a Montage and a ModiX, because all the new features are going to be in the ModiX as well.